Hello and welcome to SDN Tech Forum. In this video, we are going to discuss TCP. TCP as a protocol, and here is an agenda on my screen. You can see TCP introduction. So we'll discuss what is TCP. TCP three-way handshake. There we are going to see how TCP make this communication happen before the data transfer starts, and then TCP, and then we will understand TCP segment. In detail, we'll look in under the hood and see what are the different fields available in TCP segment and how they play the role during the data transfer or host-to-host communication. Then there is a practical demo. So I'm going to simulate two Ubuntu-based PCs as a server and client, and we will see in real time with the Wireshark capture how this TCP handshake happens and what are the different flags. Especially we are going to see the different flags, how they are getting exchanged and what does that mean. Alright, so let's get started with TCP introduction. TCP, or Transmission Control Protocol, it operates at the layer 4 or transport layer of OSI model. So I have done a couple of other videos which talk about layer 1, layer 2 and layer 3. In this we are talking about layer 4 and focus on layer 4 protocol TCP. But TCP is not only layer 4 protocol, there are others as well like UDP, but in this video we are discussing TCP only. Yep, it is used for a server and client type of communication. TCP is denoted by protocol number 6 in IPv4 header. So in my earlier video you have seen IPv4 header, and within IPv4 header you have a field called protocol which identify the upper layer protocol, and if that field is set to number 6, that means it is carrying a TCP payload. Then connection oriented. TCP is connection oriented. That means it uses a three-way handshake mechanism before it data transfer actually start. And also TCP flags within the segment, they are very crucial to understand how this handshake happens. So we will look into that. Reliable. This is a reliable protocol. That means there is some form of acknowledgement and going on, and if the data transfer if data is like lost during the transfer, the retransmission facility is also there. So TCP is a reliable protocol. TCP uses unique combination of source and destination port to identify each flow. Port number which can range from 0 to 65535, but only port 0 to 1023 are like reserved for well-known application. So if you see certain application like your telnet or your DSCP, DSCP doesn't use TCP, sorry about that, but a lot of well-known application, they have their TCP field fixed. Like BGP uses a TCP protocol, right, at 179. So that's a well-known application. Registered ports are starting from 1024 to 49151. So a lot of software developer, when they create their software, they register the port. That this is like VMware using 9001 and all and other things for their well-known app as a registered port. Then there is a need of like a private ports, right? If I'm as a developer developing some sort of application for fun or maybe some research work, I need something, right, which is available freely to me, and that is called private port or dynamic port, which ranges from 49152 to 65535. TCP segment illustration. So this is how a TCP header looks like. So it is usually 20 byte long, but if you have optional field set, it can run up to 60 byte. So it ranges from 20 to 60 byte. Minimum is 20 byte long. And here I am again showing IPv4 header just for a reference. So if the protocol field set to 6, that means it is carrying TCP payload, and this is how a TCP segment look like. So you can see that this is like 20 byte long. That's why each row here it denotes 1 byte. 4 byte long, yes. So 2 byte, each row is 4 byte, and you have 5 rows. And if it is a optional, then there will be another rows, but at a minimum you have 5 rows of 4 byte each. That is 5 into 4 equal to 20 bytes. So the first row is your source port and your destination port. That means 2 byte of source port and 2 byte of destination port. And you have noticed that the port number ranges from 0 to 65535, that is 2 to the power 16, because your source port or destination port is 16 bit or 2 byte. So that is 2 to the power 16 gives you 65535. And then you have a sequence number, 4 byte of sequence number, similarly 4 byte of acknowledgement number. Then on the fourth row you have data offset, 3 bits, 1 byte of data offset, and then 1 byte of these flags, and 2 byte of window size. So what we are interested in, we are here in this byte. So in this you can see that 3 bits are reserved, and then you have 9 control bits or flag bits, and we will discuss what are these bits are. And then 5 is your checksum and urgent pointer. So I'll explain what is urgent pointer. And now let's go to how the TCP handshake happen. So here in this I have the similar demo. So you can see there is a client and there is a server. So client initiate the TCP communication. Initially it is in a closed state, and server is listening. So server is listening for a TCP connection on certain port. In my case it is listening on 5001. So server is in closed state, and then it sends a sync packet. So it sends a TCP packet with a sync bit set, and sequence, it set the sequence to 0. Server listening to that port, get that TCP segment or packet, and then it check the sequence, and then it send the reply back, and it sent a TCP segment with sync and acknowledgement bit set, and it set the acknowledgement to 1, and within sync it set sequence as a 0. Once client receives sync ACK, it responded with the acknowledgement, and it increment the ACK and sync sequence by 1. So now it is sent the ACK, and at this stage you can see the TCP three-way handshake is completed and connection is called establish. Once connection is established, client or server, whoever want to send data, they can send data, and the receiver can simply acknowledge by incrementing the acknowledgement sequence number. Okay, once data transfer is complete, even the connection tear down is graceful. That means again it's a it informed that I'm closing the connection, and the closing of connection done via fin bit or finish bit. And so it sends a finish, it get acknowledged, and then it send finish acknowledge, and then how the connection is closed. So there is no abrupt close of connection. It's always graceful. Note, a TCP MSS, sometime you may heard of like TCP MSS, which is maximum segment size. It is a TCP payload minus TCP header. So MSS equal to TCP payload minus TCP header. So if you have 520 byte of MSS, that is total packet size of 520 plus 20. Now let's decode TCP header. So what we just discussed is like different component, right? Fin, ACK, and saying. So what does that mean? Here on my screen you can see a TCP segment header, source port, destination port, sequence number, and all the control flags. So let's understand them one by one. Source port, 16 bit or 2 byte, it identifies the sending port. So if any interactive communication is happening between sender and receiver, the port helps to receiver to identify which port in the other side sender back response to. So it actually identifies the each flow based on the unique combination of source port and destination port. Destination port identifies the receiving side. Sequence number is 4 byte long, and it has like 2 rows. So basically if the sync flag is set, then this is the initial sequence number. The sequence number of actual first data type byte and acknowledgement number is corresponding, are then sequence number plus 1. So when sync flag is set, then this sequence number is the actual sequence number, and the acknowledgement, what you are expecting to get is sequence number of sync flag plus 1. So if the sender has sent 1000 packet of data, then acknowledgement should come 1000 and plus 1001, and sender will start again from sending from 1001 and so on. Acknowledgement number is equal to sequence number, and they work hand in hand. Then we'll talk about the control flag. So TCP header contains several 1-bit boolean field called flags to influence how the flow of data across the TCP connection. And what are these flags? So 2 bytes, 3 bits are reserved, and then we have 9 bits which are used as a flag or called control bits, right? So one is acknowledgement. You have seen that acknowledgement is very important during data transfer and as well as during three-way handshake where the connection is established. Then you have experimental flag, nuance sum. It is very least used. And then you have ECE. It is responsible for explicit congestion notification introduced in RFC 3168. So it can inform the other side that the system is experiencing congestion, so slow down. And then you have CWR, congestion window reduced. So this is like mechanism how sending host to indicate receiver segment with the ECE flag set. So these two are congestion management flags which work together. And then you have urgent field. Urgent field is used to notify the receiver to process the urgent segment before processing all other segment. So if this urgent flag is set, it is telling that process this segment as soon as possible, and also look at the urgent pointer field. So you have some information to glean into urgent pointer. So if you have urgent bit set here, then system will also look at urgent pointer and see if there is additional information to process. Push flag. So push flag is it tells receiver that generally TCP uses a buffer. So receiver side, sender side buffers the TCP payload and then send it out. But if the push flag is set, so it doesn't wait for a complete MSS to fill. It just if the push flag is set, that segment is processed as soon as possible without buffering. So this is useful when you are like using something like a telnet, because telnet is a very lightweight protocol. So the actual data transfer is very minimal, but it is very sensitive to latency also, right? So for telnet, the push bit is set. That means as soon as you have the telnet connection initiated, just send it out to the receiver. Reset flag, when host receive any unexpected TCP segment to tear down or there is any error, it uses reset flag to reset the connection. Fin is finish. It means there is no more data from the sender. So as I mentioned, it is a graceful exchange. So after the transfer is finished, it's at the fin bit and the connection is closed. Then you have window size, where so TCP windowing is a mechanism like how many bytes you can send before you receive acknowledgement, and it is kind of like dynamic. I will talk about that in later advanced video. Checksum is just like IPv4 or layer 2 header checksum. For layer 4 you have checksum inbuilt, and then urgent pointer, it works with the urgent flag. If urgent flag is set, then system look at the urgent pointer to process extra information. Okay, this is it for TCP theory, and now we will go into TCP demo, where we will look into Wireshark capture and understand all these flags and how they are exchanged. Thank you.